What if, 2,000 years ago, someone built a machine so precise and impossibly advanced that even scientists today call it the world's first computer? But how did ancient engineers create technology ahead of its time, without modern tools, without machines, and without science we rely on today? Welcome to Time Decoded, the place where the secrets of history come alive. In 1901, Greek sponge divers were exploring the Aegean Sea. Near the small island of Antikythera, they discovered a sunken shipwreck buried under the waves for over 2,000 years. Among the treasures they found a small corroded lump of bronze and wood. It would later be called the Antikythera Mechanism. At first, no one understood what this strange device was. For 2 years it sat in the museum, ignored, covered in rust and seashells. In May 1902, archaeologist Valerio Stias examined one of the fragments and noticed perfectly cut and aligned tiny gear teeth inside. This was the first hint that the object was not ordinary, but a complex machine. But the real breakthrough came decades later. In the 1970s, scientists used X-rays to look inside the corroded pieces. What they found shocked the entire world. Inside the rusted bronze were more than 30 interlocking gears, each carefully cut, aligned, and arranged in a network of astonishing complexity. The teeth fit together so perfectly that even a tiny misalignment would have destroyed the whole mechanism. The deeper they studied, the stranger it became. There were dials and inscriptions marking the phases of the moon, rotating plates that tracked eclipses and planetary movements, a crank that set the whole system in motion as tiny gears moved together, each representing a part of the heavens. This was not decoration, or not even an art. This was engineering at a level no one believed the ancient world could achieve. When scientists roasted between the fragments, gear by gear, a pattern began to emerge. This was not random. Every wheel, every dial, every inscription had a purpose, together forming a map of the heavens. It turned out this mysterious object was not a clock at all. It was an ancient computer, a mechanical model of the universe. It could predict the exact date of the next solar eclipse, the phases of the moon, the cycles of planets like Venus and Mars, and even ancient Greek Olympic event dates. For a civilization over 2,000 years old, it was nothing short of breathtaking. To build something like this, the creator needed advanced mathematical models, equations describing how the moon moves faster at some points and slower at others. How did someone in the ancient world master them? The device seemed to speak the language of both science and art. It was not merely built for function, it was built with beauty. Greek inscriptions carved along its edges recorded instructions for use, like an ancient manual, and on the back, twin spirals of bronze marked the cycles of eclipses, each notch representing months, years, and celestial rhythms. One spiral traced the Saros cycle, marking 223 months between each repeating eclipse, the exact same pattern that modern astronomers still follow today. Another dial displayed the Metonic cycle, a 19-year period aligning the solar and lunar calendars. To the ancients, this was not just math. It was the harmony of the universe carved into metal. The Antikythera Mechanism changed everything we thought we knew about ancient science, but it also left behind a haunting mystery. Who built it? And how did they craft something so advanced 2,000 years ago? Let's uncover the most powerful theories behind this forgotten masterpiece. Some historians believe the mechanism was born from the mind of one of history's greatest geniuses, Archimedes of Syracuse. He lived in the 3rd century BCE, just decades before the mechanism was created. Ancient writings describe Archimedes not just as a mathematician, but as an inventor, a man who built war machines, complex pulleys, and even mechanical models of the cosmos. Roman philosopher Cicero once wrote that Archimedes built a device that imitated the movements of the sun, moon, and 5 planets. But if Archimedes truly built it, why has history left us only one? Some scholars suggest the mechanism was a navigation instrument used to track celestial events for long voyages. The sailors of the ancient world were exceptional astronomers. They could read constellations like maps. But this machine would have given them something even greater precision. By turning the crank, a navigator could align the dials to a specific date, and instantly know when the next eclipse or full moon would occur. It provided vital information for safe passage and timing trade routes. If true, this wasn't a machine of scholars or kings. It was a working tool, guiding explorers through the vast unknown. Another theory paints a different picture. Some believe the secret lies on the island of Rhodes. During the 2nd century BCE, Rhodes was home to brilliant engineers, astronomers, and mathematicians who studied under the successors of Archimedes. It was a place where mechanics and philosophy met, where metal, math, and mystery came together. Here, master craftsmen built automata that moved on their own, astronomical clocks, and orreries that modeled the heavens. The Antikythera Mechanism may have been born in one of these workshops. Perhaps it was built for a wealthy scholar, or a temple that tracked the stars for ritual purposes. The shipwreck could have been its final journey, carrying the mechanism to a new owner when disaster struck. Another theory points toward Library of Alexandria, Egypt. This was not just a library of scrolls, it was a center of experimentation, filled with inventors, mathematicians, and astronomers pushing the limits of knowledge. Ancient writings from Alexandria describe devices that could predict eclipses and celestial movements. Some scholars believe the Antikythera Mechanism could be a surviving fragment of that lost knowledge, a piece of Alexandria's genius that escaped the flames when the library was destroyed. If true, it means the mechanism is more than an artifact. It's a message from a world erased by fire. As the historian Carl Sagan once said, "When you burn books, you destroy treasures of the mind, but the ideas still rise in the smoke, waiting to be rediscovered." And maybe this machine is one of those ideas, rising again after 2,000 years. Today, the fragments of the Antikythera Mechanism sit quietly behind glass in the National Archaeological Museum of Athens. Just imagine how this single discovery has already reshaped everything. Before it, we believed precision gears began with the Renaissance. Now we know the ancients had already mastered them. Before it, we thought astronomy was done only with parchment and math. Now we know they built computers, from bronze. When you stand before that glass case in Athens, you are not just looking at fragments of metal. You are looking at the heartbeat of an idea, that the universe can be understood, measured, and even recreated by human hands. Think about that next time you check the weather, or look at your smartwatch. You are standing on the shoulders of ancient minds, more brilliant than we give them credit for. Sometimes the past is not behind us. It's buried, waiting to be decoded. See you in the next chapter, with secrets even more shocking than this one.